When the nation speaks, the roundtable listen. Tuesday and Thursday, 9 p.m. Join the conversation that matter the most. Live, unfiltered, unapologetic, with local voices and international minds. The roundtable dive deep into today's toughest questions in society, politics, culture. Nothing is off limits. Your voice, your questions, your platform. Live on Wiz TV, featuring top panelists Mr. Samuel Abu, Mr. Hamed Fofana, Mr. Cyrus Gray, Mr. Jai Blamo, and your host, William McGill. Heated debate, eye-opening truths, and real impact. Tune in to the roundtable every Tuesday and Thursday at 9 p.m. Only on Wiz TV Live. The roundtable, where every voice counts.
Secure all financing of all road networks in the country, major road networks. Assigned under President Weah a 10-year electricity financing, 10 years for the World Bank. So that means, forget about President Waga. The financing for the president who will be elected 2029, Asani. It's a 10-year financing. I signed the administration on President. So that guaranteed 10 years of financing. So 6 years, 10 minus 6, how many years? So the next president will enjoy 4 years. So don't worry about this rescue. The next president will take President Weah. The President Weah will take himself. The fundamental question that bring on now is that Liberians, why we don't have jobs? Liberians, why our budget is 650 million and it's not 1 billion? Sierra Leone budget is 1.5 billion. Cote d'Ivoire budget is 27 billion. Ghana budget is 20 billion. Why is it that Liberia's budget just hangs around 600? And let me tell you that when we say 800 million, the partners bringing 150 there. The raw domestic, the money yourself bringing here, that's 650, 675. Amen. That's it. Government's salary right now, the government's wage bill right now is bloated. The government wage bill is exploding beyond almost $340 million in the government. What? When you take $350 million from 600, what do you left? The debt you owe all international people from domestic, CBL debt, I may get away. In fact, I'm telling you, CBL may get away. As soon as your money comes, whether you get negative, they can CBL take it. When the money go there, because so CBL don't ask Minister of Finance whether to take the money. Because in the agreement with the IMF, all money will go to the bank, they have to be paid on time. There's no delay. So you pay the CBL, you pay your debt, you pay the World Bank. You need around 100, 125 million every year for that. Okay? You're talking about 675. Then the government running itself, you need what? And want their way to political power. And they think they can get away with it. So we just lie and say anything, 25 million, 16 billion, we just lie. People I mean, they try, men like me, people trying to say I can kill human beings. I mean, can you imagine that? All the people who know me, people even believe that I can kill Cletus Noah. That's how evil this country has become, and the politics has become destructive. So those are who are there. We have thick skin. Me, I have very thick skin. I was born for political battle. Don't get me wrong. This is my field. Yo, yo. The other problem, they brought the auditors there I mean, all the auditor, all the lie. That's how Kogi got censured. Kogi is harmless. Jefferson Kogi. I've known him from baby. Do no harm. But today, Kogi is on the human rights sanction. The human rights sanction is not like even the corruption sanction. When American put out a sanction, the human rights came from Russia. I mean, but the Russian abuse is the most dangerous sanction. You put Jefferson Kogi on the human rights version of that sanction, we gotta fight the they would have fight and get him out of it. So what happened was that there was a barrage of propaganda every day confronting all U.S. government. And we were sitting here, I was sitting here dealing with harmonization and focus the economy of economy. I've kidding myself with IMF. The guys are burying us on the side. By the time we went there to fight the minister, I went down with feeling here. I mean, one of the reasons why we lost this election is that when Liberians who there's a fraction of Liberians. I mean, 17,000 separating the two parties is a negative. You can see that the country is split evenly. But the stubborn Liberians who were made to believe and lied to that we took NGO jobs away, that it was because of President William that the economy was declining. I don't care you gave them $50 million. They wanted this experiment to see what would happen after a George Weah was not president. They made a difference for the Unity Party. They are the most frustrated and the most disappointed now because they know deception took them away from the reality. Yes. So that is what we have to deal with now. So,
for the people in this country. 2026 is the day we'll rally the people. The regime that is bending on compromising justice to please the political elites and the patronage must be met with the forceful resolve of the conscious militants and revolutionaries and the hierarchy of consciousness. Now I say this to those progressive in government, we are not disappointed. Because when we all knew that a day will come that you will be at the crossroad. Yesterday, you championed the demand for April 14, 1979. It was all in your recitation that the progressive were never wrong to challenge multi-party democracy in this country. Today, Mr. Boyka is a beneficiary of the democracy that was ushered in by selfless men and women who laid down their lives, regardless of the men and women that stood before them, regardless of the army that forced them to usher in a boycott that, according to him, could not even drink milk when he was born, to be living at the luxury opponents of the people and taking home a budget around 4 million, and you come here and make mockery of the people that sacrifice their lives in making sure that you live our opponents and you think will allow you go scot-free by misinterpreting and misreading history. You are joking, Mr. President. You are joking. This is a historical cause that we are prepared to champion. We are prepared to champion the cause for the dignification of those people that are lying at the mass grave when you went there and criminate well, our trouble from the mountain and brought them to give him a befitting funeral only because you want to have a name made for yourself among the American Liberians. Only because you want your administration to be given an international acclaim process that you did what other administration could not have done. You cannot rebury Doe without thinking about reburying Will Gabi Tapia. You cannot rebury Doe without thinking about reburying Aaron Nipsey. These people, these men and women, blood was used as a water to filter the revolution and lay the blueprint of the democracy that you enjoy today. If the government of Liberia cannot commemorate that committee, involve our student leaders in this country to commemorate and celebrate a genuine reconciliatory effort, the July 26th celebration will be another historical reality that will be confronted by men and women at the hierarchy of consciousness. We are calling on all progressive forces and ideological movement in this country to see July 26th as a day to demand national reconciliation and national healing. And may Mr. Boyka, quote-unquote, kwasa, misguided, misapplied, and misrepresented ill logic of what it should be. We are saying this to Liberians. The need for reconciliation is not only given to president. We are saying this again We hold no sympathy for Mr. Doe. We hold sympathy for Nelson Doe. Peace to our artists. But Doe deserve to die. And if need be, if history repeat itself, he must be killed in a more brutal way than he was killed. For the fact that you can kill over 600 people, men and women, pastors and imams, babies, mothers and pregnant women, in a raid or massacre, we cannot celebrate you as a president that should be given a befitting state funeral.
Yo,
Bueno, our top.
all men are born equal and deserve the right to live. Yo.
Bueno, our top too deserve to die. Oh yes. If history revisit itself, the need to have a more forceful death is imperative upon him. We owe no one an apology. No one an apology for our stand on these issues.
For your place, then who are you? But we'll take our own time to have it resolved because we don't want people to harm you people. So in solving those kind of problems, you have to take your time to solve it. Because when we solve a problem that will be a harm to you, I mean, we have not solved no problem. So we must solve it in a way that it will not be a harm to you people, so all of us can be together. So I will join him. We will see what to do. Because they think they're not only your problem. Even in Maryland, the Burkinabés are there too. Right? Yes. We've been hearing it. What are the kind of things that we lawmakers are supposed to stay on? To tell the president, say the other action, when you not take it, we will not do the other one. Exactly. But my brother, when you not join president, you will not steal. Because president are rule. So most of our portfolio joining president. So it's hard for us to talk for you. Yes. Because in the house, majority take the day. Yes. We'll talk all the things they want to talk. The reason why I can cancel and talk it is because I want the Liberian people to know that I talk. Yes. So tomorrow when you're Joshua, I say, no, we can't put you get it because you get tough for all. Yeah. And you see the difference? Yeah. I know when I want to talk, we're not going nowhere. But when the time for you to investigate, you will say, we'll put you there. Why you get what talking, you didn't talk. Yeah, exactly. The problem is all around. Yes. Then the people go back to Burkina. But we have to take it in a way that it will not affect you. Yeah? So if the Rewaji representative, the Maryland County representative, the Grand Chile representative, all put together, we join them. You know what happened? When Joseph Baga bring the paper, will not pass it. We say go and solve that problem before we pass the paper. Yeah. Very good. But some of the people you have brought, they have become an embarrassment to you. Yes. Yes. Because they don't want to tell the president, say, oh, forget about the poor man. When they tell me, we'll go talk to them. And like, bro, put to ourselves our own problem. Yes. You don't know where we're taking the stolen money from, but when you come give it to you, then you vote for us. Then how will we solve the problem now? 2029, we will tell your lawmaker and are causing problem for your in the country. We'll tell you who are those people. Okay. And we'll tell them, say, when they bring the money, eat it like your money. Yes. The money will steal in like your own, bring it to you. Yeah. Eat it. Now vote against them.
That in the rescue of the price of famine increasing, so nothing dropping.
So, but then why you voted for rescue?
I voted for change. You're not seeing the change.
But if you say you voted for change, during Joe Weirton, you was buying Buddha for. Sorry, don't cry. Sorry, don't cry, baby.
I tell the 40,000 trouble. I see people don't have me, don't tell me for the trouble. I owe you the teenage young man. I fell on the back of it. I'm in trouble. I get cowards on the team. You got to put it on to me. You got credit on the back and they don't buy it. You got a 10% increase.
With the exercise for today, these goods were taken from people selling in the streets on Broad Street. As you can see, there are umbrellas. They will be checked in there. So as we put them down, we'll check the number. And the owner of this business will come and collect his umbrella with a fine to it. So for transparency, the pudding down, and then we'll do the check. So you won't be doing the check while the man bringing it? Okay. So you have so rubber chairs. So
as we draw closer to the July 17th protest date. Today makes it 10 days from that date. We have asked planners to engage with the Ministry of Justice to get a permit and inform law enforcement as to routes they intend to take so that we can provide the adequate protection. Up to today, we haven't seen any such engagement. However, we want to reaffirm our commitment to the democratic process, that will provide the adequate protection necessary, and will do whatever we can to ease the burden of those who will not be a part of the protest and will have to get to town. So as soon as we understand how and where they intend to gather, we'll continue to communicate with the public.
I can't stand no more, cause I'm a fool. I cannot go to school, cause no more money. I can't stand no more, cause I'm a fool. I cannot go to school, cause no more money. Hey yo, excuse me Mr. Journalist, I wonder how you make your headlines in the press release today. Although I read the news every day, but I'm really still getting confused now, and I just wanna ask you some questions. Oh, is it based on money? Is it based on presidency? Is it based on technology? Is it based on war? Tell me, we got major headlines. Oh, we got major story. There is no job, no money for hustlers. We got major headlines. We got major story. There is no job, no money for hustlers. Come take a coverage, the rainy season coming soon. In the ghetto, all the houses are full of leaks, there's nowhere to sleep. Come and see the widow, living in the street with her children. Since the daddy went to war to fight, he never lived to see them. The children have no shelter, oh, children have no education. The children have no one to call their friend. The children have no food to eat. We got major headlines. Oh, we got major stories.
We like to say a pleasant good evening from Liberia. This is WIS TV. The round table is a pleasant good evening from Liberia. Wherever you're watching us from, we'd like to say good evening, good morning, and good afternoon. Welcome to this presentation of the round table. The round table comes to you Monday, that's on Tuesday and Thursday at 9 p.m. Liberia time, where we have our panelists who definitely join us to discuss things that are happening across Liberia, be it politics, be it cultural, economic, or situations. We talk about them here on the program, the round table. So my name is William McGill, and we hoping to have our panelists joining us. We hoping to have Mr. Samuel Abu to join us. We hoping to have Mr. Sidiki Fofana to also join us on the show. We hoping to have all of our panelists coming on so that we can talk about all of the things that are happening. So I would basically give you a rundown of our topic, and we would take a break. And when we get back, I would definitely get into the discussions on the program, the roundtable. So we basically gonna be looking at the a 5 billion railroad project, that was initially talked about by the Unity Party-led government, and later on the U.S. Embassy near Monrovia announced the 1.8 billion uh, project agreement, concession agreement as well. We're also going to be looking at the official groundbreaking of the overhead bridge that has overstayed, someone could say, that the government just announced will officially uh, be taking place in October. The groundbreaking will take place in October, and effectively work will start. We also gonna be talking about the LMP recent statement by police IG Gregory Como about the plan July 17 protest. We're gonna talk about that as well. So keep following the show as we take a short break and listen to Police Inspector General Gregory Como to come, and we can listen to this clip, and once we get back we will kickstart the discussion here. My name is William. Keep listening and don't you go away.
We draw closer to the July 17 protest date. Today makes it 10 days from that date. We have asked planners to engage with the Ministry of Justice to get a permit and inform law enforcement as to routes they intend to take so that we can provide the adequate protection. Up to today, we haven't seen any such engagement. However, we want to reaffirm our commitment to the democratic process that will provide the adequate protection necessary and will do whatever we can to ease the burden of those who will not be a part of the protest and will have to get to town. So as soon as we understand how and where they intend to gather, we'll continue to communicate with the public.
You listen to the police IG there, Gregory Coleman, talking about permit for the protests on July 17th. So before we run through with that discussion, let's throw a light on a couple of things that are happening across Liberia. And we also saw a release coming in from the National Elections Commission talking about the uh, you know preliminary list of aspirants for the upcoming representative by-election in Nimba County District 5. As we all are aware, uh, former the late Senator Johnson seat was occupied by then District 5 lawmaker Nimba Samuel Koga, Honorable Samuel Koga, and then we were opportune to go and cover up that electoral process in Nimba thanks to Wiz TV. We saw how the election play out as well, and all of the happenings was brought to you. So they have the preliminary list of these uh, candidates. So here's the release. It says NEC issued the National Elections Commission of Liberia has released the preliminary list of aspirants for the upcoming representative by-election in Nimba. The election is scheduled to take place on August 12, 2025, with voting uh, penned for 8 a.m. to 6 o'clock p.m. So the voting will take place on August 12th of this year, and we have a list of candidates that are definitely going to be contesting in that election, and a lot of them want to replace the lawmaker at the time. So you have 11 names preliminarily released by the National Elections Commission, and we should be aware that this is a preliminary list. Any other issues coming up is possible that the National Elections Commission will be able to remove you from the process just in case a candidate or an aspirant, that's the right way to call them right now, an aspirant that is aspiring a seat is not qualified, will be removed from the list. So we have Belia Boris B, independent candidate Kokpa Abraham, Liberia Transformation Party, Kwegu Kota Sangobe, Movement for Democratic and Reconstruction, MDR, the late Senator Prince Johnson political party. We have Member Tako, a independent. We have Meko Augusto Kane, Vision for Liberia Transformation, and we have Memang C. Boka, Liberia National Union, Lino. We have Wei Junior Joseph Gondi, Liberia People Democratic Party, LPDP, Williams Co, Independent, Wangwe Mendy Kama, female, Liberia Rebuilding Party. We have Woma Samson Zeye. He comes from the Democratic People's Party of Liberia, DPPL. We have Yo Jackson Somi, National Democratic Coalition, NDC. So these are the 11 preliminary expiring list there from Nimba County, and it was being released by the National Election Commission. And let's talk about uh, the release this video. Let's talk about this video a little bit. And
We draw closer to the July 17 protest date. Today makes it 10 days from that date. We have asked planners to engage with the Ministry of Justice to get a permit and inform law enforcement as to routes they intend to take so that we can provide the adequate protection. Up to today, we haven't seen any such engagement. However, we want to reaffirm our commitment to the democratic process that will provide the adequate protection necessary and will do whatever we can to ease the burden of those who will not be a part of the protest and will have to get to town.
let me say a pleasant good evening to Mr. Abu. Good evening, Mr. Abu, and welcome on the show this evening.
Hey, Miguel, how are you?
I'm doing great.
Out there tonight. Fine, and also to my viewers and listeners around the world, I just want to say hi to you. And we're here tonight bringing you a very good show, and we look forward to maybe your contributions. Engage us in the chat room, and we'll see what will happen. Make your comments, share, and also see what you happen. Give it to friends. Let them hear our opinion and whatever we're going to say here.
Okay. Thank you so much for coming on, Mr. Abu. Basically, I wanted us to talk about, this video coming in from the Liberia National Police, where they are wanting Stan, who is the lead organizer of a planned protest on July 17th this month, the 17th. There's a planned protest by Stan to carry on a protest calling on the government for so many reasons they have raised uh, uh, in the public for some months now. They have been carrying on this awareness, and right after the release of this video, that's the official document I've placed on the screen, coming in from the leader of STEM, Morba Molu, saying that they have requested to protest on that date to the Ministry of Justice. And so if the police RG, Gregory Como, is saying that they have no request for that day to protest, by law, it is every person right to express themselves. But again, you should request to protest. So I will just read this document, and then I will also like for you to make some input, per what you think about this entire protest. So the document says stands solidarity and let's see, okay, solidarity and trust for a new day. It say, in custodian with we the people movement and collaborating civil society organizations, July 3rd, 2025, Councillor N. Oswald Tue, Minister of Justice and Attorney General, Republic of Liberia, Capitol Hill, Monrovia, Republic of Liberia, reference official notification of July 15th to the 17th, peaceful protests on the team. Enough is enough. Dear Honorable Minister Tue, we extend compliments from the Solidarity and Trust for a New Day in custodian with we the people movement and several collaborating civil society organizations across Liberia. Through this letter, we write to officially inform your office, uh, pursuant to Chapter 3, Article 17 of the 1986 Constitution of Liberia, of our intention to peacefully assemble in accordance with the law, international human rights protocols, and consistent democratic practice in Liberia's history. In the lead up to our nationwide peaceful protests, two separate civil events are scheduled to take place, beginning on July 15, 2025, and culminating on July 17, 2025. Under the theme Enough is Enough, this sequence of activities, particularly the July 17 protests, constitute a lawful and non-violent civic engagement aimed at demanding justice, accountability, good governance, and respect for the rule of law, firmly grounded in constitutional principles. This peaceful demonstration will mobilize thousands of Liberians from all walks of life, giving voice to the conscience of a nation confronted by deepening hardship and democratic deteriorations. Schedule of activity: Day 1, July 15, 2025, Memorial Parade and Symbolic Burial of War Victims, 20 symbolic casket honoring each of Liberia's 15 counties, the victims of our devastating civil wars, including foreign nationals, the 3 lives lost in the Kinjor massacre, and all those slams by judicial killings, will be summarily carried from Broad Street to Palm Grove Cemetery. This scare possession is not uh, then a march, it is a moment of collective national mourning and dignified symbolic burial for those that are injustice. So, you have Charles Mobile, Ministry of Justice, his number and everything is being placed. It was given on the 4th, 2025, 12:49 p.m. So that's definitely the letter, and Mobile Malu posted today about then having to present a letter to the Ministry of Justice requesting for the 2 dates, July 15 and the 17th, to have the protests. So I don't know if you've been following the entire situation with that protest, Mr. Abu, and what actually do you have to say concerning that?
Thank you so much. One thing we have to look at in the history of Liberia, we have always had this law that people should seek request to protest, which in most democratic nations they do that. Because why are you doing this? It's because you want the protection and the safety of the people who are participating in the protest. Because there will be other people who have different ulterior motives, who will want to come into it and cause some chaos that will make the leaders or the organizers of that protest to be held liable. Because there's one thing in the law where you're in democracy, where your rights end is where my own rights begin. So when we say we're going to put people in the street to protest, we mean we are going to stop most of the activities, economic and political activities and social activities, to be held still in the city. So when we say go to the Ministry of Justice, when the law says go to the Ministry of Justice, I think Ministry of Justice is supposed to provide safety for people. So that is right when the law says that go to Ministry of Justice. Now, from what I'm hearing, this group has already informed the Ministry of Justice. But the Ministry of Justice is not a group that you say you just inform them. They do have parastatals that are responsible to keep the safety of the city and to keep the safety of the residents around. Now, if you write to the Ministry of Justice, the Ministry of Justice will want to know who I did hear collaborating organizations and this and that. Who are these people? You know, you don't keep the thing in the cap. You know, you can't play the cards close to your chest and expect the Minister of Justice to know exactly what you want to do. So in such a case, sometimes that letter is good. You inform the Minister of Justice. But the Ministry of Justice has to prepare itself through the National Police and through the various security agencies to make sure that they are on top of security and the safety of everybody in the city, including those who are part of the protest and those who are not part of the protest, are all protected. Now, where we look in this case, the writer of the letter did give a name of Stein. But then it is their right to also protest. But that letter is not really explicit about what they are going to do specifically. They talk about the issues that they have on hand. Deepening hardship. Okay? Hardship has always existed in Liberia, no matter what happened. Even though sometimes we sit down, we see the good old days. During those same good old days, there were some people who could not afford food to eat. There were many people who could not have jobs. There were many people who could not even afford school fees to send their children to school. Hardship has always remained. So if hardship remains in the country, does that mean that we are going to continue protesting? Even here in America, where I sit, okay, at my agency, we have a food bank. Some mornings we have up to 1,000 people coming to stand on line. Americans, not just immigrants, who come to stand on line for food. And some of the food, some Liberians are also benefiting from it because we see some of their relatives come and pick those foods and put them in the barrels and send it to them. When we go to Monrovia, we do see the foods that are coming from the food banks here. So we do have hardship. We do have people who are jobless. We do have a lot of these things exist. But I think it is the right to be responsible for ourselves. Human rights people or rights organizations try to speak for the public. Okay, that is good. But this particular protest is very, very good. Whatever they want to say, they can say it. But I believe that the Ministry of Justice is asking or would want to put a lot of things into motion before a right of way is given to them. First, how many organizations are taking part? If they are all if these organizations are all taking part, name them, list them, and the name of the officials, so government will know who is really are the organizers, not just one person. In addition to that, I think government polices the entire city. This protest is taking place in the city, so this means that government also wants to know where are we going to be as the Minister of Justice or as the police IG said. Tell us specifically which streets you are going to be on. Are you going to be on Broad Street, to the police station, to the Capitol building, to this? They'll make sure that these places are safe. They have to redirect traffic so that the traffic will not come in those areas. So other people's activities will not be hindered by that protest. Everybody has a protest. Here in America, you see two people stand and hold a banner in their hand. It's a protest. You can't say that. All they have to do, you remain on the sidewalk. You don't impede the traffic. If it has to be a very large number, you can get in traffic, but the police are equally informed about it, and they will be able to divert the traffic into other directions so that you can hold the other members, other people who are not part of your protest hostage in the city. You know, this is what is happening. But I feel that is a very good thing. Everything they're talking is good. The reconciliation to go to Palm Grove Cemetery from Broad Street is good. But right now, Palm Grove Cemetery is not the only cemetery that we have in Monrovia. We have many other cemeteries, you know, but Palm Grove is the one they have taken, which is going to be something like a symbolic one. We agree to that. You can have a match. But what we want to see really is that if I'm going to be in Monrovia, I'm also going to be part of that protest. But I really want, if I'm walking from one street end to another street end, I must see a policeman standing there to direct us so that if people are on the main street, the people on the sidewalks are being protected. We're not going to have people there to bust people's vehicles. We're not going to have people there to start stoning other people. We will expect people to say the ugliest things about people. We will expect people to stand there and say everything about the president. We expect people to stand there and insult all of the officials of the government. You know, we expect that. But what is happening is that the police just wants to know where are you going to be moving in the city so that they can have eyes on you to make sure that you do not do what you want to do, because we know why it is. Protest, we know what protest is. Once you say a civic protest, it is not a protest of stoning people and saying things. You can say anything, because if I want to sue you for saying something to me that doesn't really represent me, I can do it. But in a case like this, I think the organizers should try to be more and more discursive with the authorities so that the protest can be very organized.
Thank you so much, Mr. Abu. And the police is not just the only person. I think uh Morva Malu, Mr. Morva Malu was once part of the CDC. He was the chairman, and the current chairman of the CDC, Councillor Kanyo Bagbara, said that this protest as a whole in Liberia has never been a great thing. Protest was the reason we had the Rest Riot that led to the 1990 war, and he talked about, it's not the only way. There should be some other ways that stand as a group, civil society organization can be able to reach out personally to President Waka, because most of these things they've said they want to protest about are things that they got problem with the president, ranging from you know uh, their quote unquote misusing the constitution, disregarding the rule of law as well. They can be able to document all of that with proof and be able to get to President Bouaka and present their document with proof and listen to what the president would say instead of carrying on protests, because protest has never been a great way forward for Liberia. It's either chaotic or it end out to some other people getting hurt in the process, some way around. And again, I don't know, but I think like the police director said, the police IG said, the police are going to be there to making sure that you have people who's supposed to go about their normal business or businesses going about it, because the protest shouldn't stop someone who's supposed to go to work from going to work. That person also needs to put food on the table of their family. So, like you said, is great. And with this protest, if I'm opportune to ask Mr. Molu, I will be asking what would this protest do with all of what he said? Protesting, having huge number of people carry on the casket. What would this protest do in terms of changing most of those things he talked about, like hardship and so many other things he listed in the document. So that would just be some of the things that I will basically be asking Mr. Molu about the entire protest and getting response as well from him as a person?
Well, I mean, it's the same question I would really want to ask all of them. What are they seeking to achieve at the end? Is it intended for the government? Do they want the government to stop doing what it is doing? Do they want to hold the government hostage, or do they want the government to do what they want the government to do? The government has the constitution. The president has a mandate from the people to run the government, to run the country, and certain things he has the president who has to sometimes prioritize what he wants to do first. We as common people, we always think that our interests and other things must be prioritized first. You know, there is this thing of interest where many people will feel that their business should be the first and others must be the last. And others say this is why people have all of these problems. You know, somebody will tell you, oh, there is unemployment in the city. Yes, we do know that there is unemployment. Yes, but unemployment has always been there. No government in Liberia, I can tell you, I lived from the time of Tubman to the time of Talbot to the time of Samuel Doe to all the different transitional governments up to Ellen Johnson Sirleaf and up to the time of George Weah and Joseph Boakai now. There is no time you can tell me in Liberia that our employment rate has gone to more than 40%. There is no time. We always have a large number of unemployment, you see, because sometimes we talk about unemployment. Those who study economics, there won't be something either unemployment, there is underemployment, and there's overemployment. While we were talking about employment in the past governments, even the time of Samuel Doe, even the time of Ellen Johnson Sirleaf, there were some people who were working in two different ministries when other people did not even have a job, you know, and the fact that they were qualified and it was their right, you know. It is now that the civil service, the new civil servant director has come in and he's trying to weed out these things that at least let everybody has a piece of the pie. Let everybody have a piece of the pie, you know. You work in Ministry of Education. The next day you are working in this place. In that kind of economy, we can do it here in America. I can work in 3 places if I want to. You know, as long as there is no conflict of interest in terms of my time that I'm using, I can work in 3 agencies at the same time. You know, because there will be some days I don't work in this place, other days I work in another place. There will be some days I work in the morning in this place and I work in the night in another place, and I can still be effective. But looking at Liberia as it is at this time, we cannot easily say we need employment. Just as we said the other day, just when you announce that you are going to give 1,000 jobs for vacation students, they have more than 10,000 people there that day. So you can just imagine how many people are there looking for jobs. Every time we are graduating people, the number of graduates are increasing at the various universities. People are leaving sometimes. If LU graduated last year 200 people, this year they are graduating 700 people. UMU graduating the same way. They are having not just arithmetic progression of graduates, but a geometric number of graduates are coming up. So if we start looking at that, sometimes 200 people graduate. Out of the 200 people that graduate, we only have about maybe 100 jobs available everywhere. Okay, the Ministry of Labor is working. They have other agencies. Now, how will the new group come and join the old group? Then the number starts increasing. So in this case, we still say that unemployment will still exist. Even Mr. Mulva now, who is today protesting, there are no jobs, deepening hardship because there are no jobs. Yes, they ran CDC for 6 years. He was the chairman of CDC when CDC started. Their attempt was to make sure that a lot of the people who were the people under the CDC sympathizers, they were giving jobs to. He, Mr. Mulva, was every day writing letters to different agencies. Please employ. He sends 50 names who are all CDC partisans to different ministries and agencies to have them employed because he wanted to tackle unemployment. And while he was tackling unemployment, employing CDC people, other people were being taken out of their jobs just because he wanted to tackle it. He did not tackle, yielded nothing, because as you were finding jobs for CDC people, other people were becoming misplaced and they did not have jobs. So, Mr. Mulbah, today you cannot talk about unemployment because this is a situation that we cannot easily get. The time we had Lamco, bone mines, the different logging companies in the Southeast, the different industries in Monrovia, we still did not have we still had a high unemployment rate because some of the things were, a lot of people were not college graduates. And some people like to be qualified by association. You know, there are some people who are still in college. We still got our way of employing relatives who may not be qualified, and we keep them on the job and protect them. This happens everywhere around the world, not only in Liberia. But we cannot tackle unemployment because if we employ everybody in Liberia, there will still be hardship. There will still be hardship. We who work in America here, we still have hardship. The systems may not be the same because as the money comes in, that's how it goes out. The next morning, as I'm getting my pay on a Friday, I'm getting my water bill, I'm getting my light bill, I'm having my telephone bill, I'm having my insurance, and all of these have to be paid. For Liberia, sometimes you can suspend some of them. Okay, but so we cannot tackle these by having protests and other things. The government is already aware that there is hardship in the country, and the government will have to prioritize based on its policies, be able to handle solve all of the problems. CDC did not employ everybody, even their own people. They couldn't employ all of them.
Mr. Abu, you basically saying that Mr. Molu shouldn't be protesting because of hardship, and is one thing that his government at the time failed to tackle and put a total end to in the country. Is that what you're saying?
I am saying that directly, but that doesn't stop them from protesting. But if they say they are protesting because they want these issues of hardship to be controlled, it's going to be difficult. And it looks like they have been hiding somewhere, and they just want people to know that they are still around.
Okay. All right. So yeah, that is it. The protest situation there at you know stand and organizing a protest for July 15 and July 17 as well.
But at the same time, hold on 1 minute. At the same time, why do we need 3 days for a protest? That is tantamount. It is tantamount to insecurity in the country. 3 days holding the country hostage, because in the end, that's what it's going to be. Because every Liberian, just as Councillor Bala said, every Liberian knows how protests in the end of Liberia have always been. We know how protests ended. Now, by the time you say you're protesting on the 15th, people who sell in the markets, they wouldn't even want to go out. Some people will say their children will not go to school because the streets are going to be chaotic. Okay, no matter how much security we got, no matter how much assurance the security will give to people, some people will still say they're not coming out, and you are holding the economy hostage, and you're expecting Liberia to change. You cannot change Liberia until you change yourself, your way of thinking, your way of looking at the government.
Great. Thank you so much for addressing that, Mr. Abu. Let's also look at the recent 1.8 billion deal that was being announced by the U.S. government just before President Bouaka departed Liberia for the U.S. He's currently in America for an invitation that was given to him by the U.S. president to go at the White House, including 4 other African leaders to make then 5 and to discuss trade and some other regional activities, strong bilaterals with the United States of America. So I would just basically run in with some of the historic on this deal, and then I will let you to come in later on to talk about some of these, let's say some of these things that basically I will be looking at from this deal. So let's basically okay. It says in February 2024, High Power Exploration HPX and its Liberian subsidiary Ivanhoe Liberia, along with the Goldman Africa Group, signed a letter of intent with the Liberian government to explore the development of the Liberty Corridor project. This project was initially pitched as a 5 billion investment that would include a new heavy-duty railroad linking Nimba, Guinea to a deep-sea port in Dade, Liberia, upgraded road network, renewable energy infrastructure, broadband connectivity. The objective was to create an for HPX to transport iron ore from Guinea without relying on existing systems, primarily the railway operated by ArcelorMittal Liberia. However, HPX 5 billion Liberty Corridor project has reportedly fallen apart, with nothing materializing 2 years after the initial announcement. Instead, HPS is now focused on gaining control of the existing railway operated by ArcelorMittal Liberia, lobbying for open access, but effectively aiming to replace ArcelorMittal Liberia as the operator, according to reports. Liberia has instantly signed a 1.8 billion mineral deal with HPX. The deal supports President Bouakar's plan for a multi-user railway system and aims to attract foreign investment. The U.S. Embassy has welcomed this agreement, seeing it as a step towards Liberia's economic growth. This deal includes provision for HPX to access to Liberian rail and port infrastructure for transporting ore from Guinea. So, importantly, we should understand that uh, the railroad that HPX want to use, there was a mineral development agreement signed with the government of Liberia and that of ArcelorMittal Liberia, which grants ArcelorMittal the right to operate the railway until 2030. So ArcelorMittal have been rehabilitating and maintaining the railway, and they have, you know, clear access to that railway. And now uh, HPX is trying to negotiate to also have access to operate instead of the initial 5 billion uh, intent that they explained to the government they wanted to invest in order to have these various development coming into the country. So and you have several other concerns that came in. Some of them are what are the cause of the sudden shift in the entire 5 billion worth of that deal now shifting to 1.8 billion, in as much as the information minister on today said that it's a great boost for the economy. Yes, we know it's gonna create job as well for thousands of Liberians across the country. You're going to open up the country in terms of development. We understand that. And, some people are asking, you know, is it already beneficiary? Of course, yes, it's beneficiary to the government, to not just to the government, but citizens. But again, the major concern is why have the 5 billion due shifted from 5 billion to now 1.8 billion United States dollars due? That's the question. So I also want you to make an input, Mr. Abu, on the discussion and on that particular situation as well.
Those are all beautiful concerns, and we all really look at the concerns are very genuine. But William, you can look at something. It was 5 billion, now it has come to 1.8 billion. Now we can imagine technology has improved in a way There's something that you used to spend $10 for. Sometime today you only spend $2. Or the distance you used to use in certain times, you don't use it at this time. Now, ArcelorMittal, let me call them properly. The first contract they signed, the MRG that they signed, it is supposed to expire in the next 2 years. They have written a new one, which they are negotiating with the county, negotiating with the government. The NEMA Legislative Caucus is also involved. Now, what they said they wanted to do the first time, they were not able to achieve all the ArcelorMittal. As I can tell you, even the buildings that they put there, they said they were going to house their people. Now, the houses or the homes that were left there by Lamco, all of them are in the bushes. They started bringing containers. Why would you bring people in Liberia, in a hot country like this? You bring container to pack people in it. When we had homes that you should have just rehabilitated to put people in those things. You did not do it. Those are some of the arguments of the Legislative Caucus against ASLA. We are not going to sign your new documents until all the things you said you were going to do. But also, government is continuity. The first government, they told them will provide housing, but they did not detail what kind of houses that they were going to provide for the people in Nima County. That was what they did. Now, if we look at what is going to happen at this time, the HPX that is coming in, they wanted to come in with big money, $5 billion, this and that, but that is not what we need now in Liberia. Okay, but what we need is to have our people working. So if you are going to put all that money down, what the government is saying, yes, you can have a railway to Nima, all the way from Guinea to Nima, but we can have a multi-user railway. That means it cannot only be used by ArcelorMittal, it can also be used by another organization, which is the HPX. It can also be used by maybe private rails that all of them can work together. But then when we have multi-user railway, ArcelorMittal will have an opportunity to employ their own people. HBX will also have people employed. Those are two different entities. If you keep it to ArcelorMittal alone, it means that only ArcelorMittal is going to do it, is going to use it, and they have this limited number of people that they employ. We want to have more Liberians employed. Even now, the protests that they are going to talk about, those are some of the things they're talking about. And the government is trying to tackle some of these. And these are some of the things that the government is doing that most people will not know. Okay? So if you say that the existing railway, you got a contract for it for 30 years, let them bring us a document. But the government, that document doesn't say 30 years. They are trying to extend, ArcelorMittal is trying to extend this contract. But we have not signed the contract up to now because they are still studying it. Government has not signed that contract. Even though they have an existing contract, government is saying, well, the things you put in the first contract, try to conclude with them before we go into it and before you come with a new thing. ArcelorMittal wants to stay because they know what is in Liberia. They know how much they are benefiting. They will know what they're going to get. But we also want our people to have employment. We have technicians, we have mining engineers that need to be employed. Okay, if this new company comes, we're going to have Liberians employed all the way in Guinea. We'll have Guineans employed in Liberia, and we'll have a cross-cultural orientation and working season with other people. So we have to keep looking at all of these things. So to say it has moved from 5 billion to 1.8 billion, it means that technology is improving, and we want to use the limited money so that we can have a greater output of it. A greater output.
Mr. Abu, someone also may ask, why did the U.S. Embassy break the news instead of the Liberian government about this 1.8 billion Ivanhoe deal? Why did the U.S. Embassy break that news?
The U.S. Embassy was talking, they actually spoke on behalf of the U.S. government. And in terms like these, if the U.S. government has an interest, if they are trying to move, if they have an interest in the company that is coming to Guinea to do the exploration of the mines there, and the U.S. have interest, they may have been involved with even the negotiation to make sure that, I mean, if the company said they wanted to come with their own railroad, to make their own railroad, sometimes even at the port, at the Buchanan port, they were going to have their own berthing place different. You know, but the US government, maybe with technicians coming in, they're looking at technology, they say, no, where we can still use the same route and we can still work parallelly. We don't have to interfere with them. We have the railroad. You can say, okay, we are running from 7 o'clock to 9 o'clock, and you guys can run from 12 o'clock to 3 o'clock. That can happen. And the villages along the road, we are going to work with them. But I think the U.S. government really decided to announce it because they may have some interest in the company that is coming. And I think in Liberia, we are also happy. We can also be hailing companies that come from the U.S., even though they are companies, but they come with good working relationship for our people. If you can look at some of the companies which are American in nature, and some of the industries that are American in nature in Liberia, they have more working and better working conditions for those who work there as compared to companies that are owned by the Turkish, as compared to companies that are owned by the Chinese. Because even those who work for companies that are run by Chinese, they do cry every day. They're only there because it has provided them a job. They are not paying them commensurate with their qualification and commensurate with what they know and what the kind of work they do there. Because the Chinese come with their own people to do everything. Okay. But if Americans are going into Liberia, that could be a hailing for us. We should be able to hail them. Now, if they come and bring it, it doesn't mean that Americans want to bring small money in, but they want to really make sure that they are helping Liberia. Instead of giving us loans, instead of giving us grants, these are ways that they can help us to bring these things in. So the U.S. Embassy or the U.S. government may have an interest in it, and this is why they were the first to break the news. And at the same time, they have always been by the side of the Liberian government to do on an advisory role.
Abu, what do you actually? Hello.
Yeah.
What do you actually expect from the national legislature? This is just about breaking the news. Now it requires due process. This agreement should be sent over for ratification at the national legislature. Now, what do you expect of them in terms of this entire Ivanhoe deal, $1.8 billion deal?
Being very respectful to the legislature, I would say that the ratification of that document. What does the law say? The government can sign an agreement, but it has to go to be ratified by law, which means that those people are operating under the laws of Liberia. But this legislature the legislature that we have, it's not going to deny them. They're going to approve of it, because I know they are going to bring experts that will explain to them why we need that. It's not so much of the legislator's interest, We know it also helps some of them to have jobs, because all of them, the legislature must think that they are outside of the government. The government has 3 branches: the executive, the legislature, and the judiciary. So if they always think that they are outside of it, they cannot be outside. They should be able to give a helping hand. They should be able to, not as an opposition to the executive, they should be working along with the executive. Okay? So if the executive is the one that promotes it, they are the one that implement it and everything. So they are just we are just going to them, to the government, the executive will just send it to them for their ratification. All big contracts come with what we call the signature fee. The legislature will get a signature fee. I don't want to sugarcoat that.
Why are you saying that? Is that something that always happening? That
always happens. That always happens. Because we have made the legislatures to always be the one to, they got the biggest money in the country. Even when they are dividing the budget, they give themselves the biggest one. We don't look at them. But the next time we're ready to vote, we vote those same people in. We put them in.
Okay.
Their interest comes first. Someone one time in the legislature say, "Oh, you guys do not want to approve of our budget because we are the one every morning people come sit in front of our house for rice. When their parents, when their relatives are sick or die, they come to us, and we got more money to pay to the community." And that's not what we're supposed to give. What this government is doing is to provide an enabling capacity for our people so that they can be running behind handouts to people so that they can't go in front of the senator and say, my child doesn't have school fee, my child doesn't have this. Some of the senators or the legislators do not even have companies, but then they give out scholarship to people. Where do they get money from for these scholarships? Are they running businesses? Or it's just for political gain?
So
When you do it that way, you start looking for money in different ways.
Yeah, so that is it. And finally, Mr. Abu, let's touch situation about this overhead reach.
The overhead bridge. That
Yeah, this
overhead
is
bridge,
something.
the
This is
overhead bridge is a good
just
venture.
let me just come here a little bit, Mr. Abu. Then you will elaborate. So the overhead bridge project is something that was signed uh, between China and the government of China and the government of Liberia in 2019. And the government of Liberia and the People's Republic of China signed an agreement for this construction of two separate overhead bridges in Congotan and Osa Monrovia. And according to the foreign ministry release at the time, said the signing of the ceremony took place on Monday, September 9, 2019, in the ministers' conference room on the fourth floor. And at the time, the foreign minister was uh, Gbesonga Milton Finlay, who signed on behalf of the Liberian government, while Chinese ambassador Feng Jingjong signed for his government. So speaking at the ceremony, everything happened, and now this is something that they the we are led government talk about starting. We heard a lot of things about uh, the overhead bridge was going to kickstart and everything and everything and everything, and then now we saw that uh, on the Unity Party led government, there were some Chinese who came into the country to kickstart this project, and they even did groundbreaking about this entire overhead bridge project that is said to be constructed from ELW to Sinko Route and from the Freeport of Monrovia up to Bandersville, and now again there's an official groundbreaking that is scheduled to take place in September, anytime September. And the project, according to the report, the project would definitely start right after the groundbreaking. So I don't know what you think about this, and if this bridge is constructed, finished with the construction work by the contractors, I think this is going to be something very interesting and new to Liberia. I haven't seen a modernized overhead bridge in the country.
Yeah, that is very good. I think one of our leaders, way back, one of our leaders did say that they will make bridges to where there is no water. But actually, people did laugh at that leader at that time. But the main thing is overhead bridges are not only for water, they are intended to give a right of way to traffic.
Yeah, free flow of traffic.
The free flow of traffic. Is Congotown the right place? Yes, they have done the studies and they know how that place is being had in some days for the traffic. And now the ministerial complex is right there. So there is a need for this bridge to be built there. But then when you sign the first agreement, the agreement comes, then the contract comes. The agreement comes in the beginning. There are two people signing agreement. The Chinese government has its part to play, and the Liberian government has its part to play. Sometimes they will tell you, okay, you have to put forth this amount of money before we can start. Now, sometimes because of our changes in government, the government takes time to put forth this money. Let's imagine where they are building this bridge, the place they identified. I was in Monrovia recently. My property got affected. Okay, right in Congo Town, they broke part of my property. Okay. Now, we cannot say that the Georgia government reneged on it. What happened was that the groundwork had to be done. In terms of works like this, what happens is that you want the streets to be wide. You want to provide a greater working space for the people. Okay? So if you want to make a greater working space, a lot of property that are already along the road will have to be affected. Now, it was the Liberian government's responsibility to, first of all, identify the areas that are going to be affected. The Ministry of Public Works comes in. They identify the areas. They mark these houses. They talk to the people in the community. The next thing is the government of Liberia is the one that's supposed to pay for the relocation of those people who are occupying those properties. So some properties have been paid for. I think, as we understand from the Minister of Public Works recently, that they have already paid for all of them. I went to Monrovia. I met part of my entire fence broke on, and we had to break the house and coming all the way down. There's some other houses are still there. We don't know why they were not affected. And these are some of the problems that happen in contrast like this. But now, the government of Liberia has paid a lot of people already, as I understand. I think even Mususpat was affected greatly, the area they call Mususpat. Now, what are we looking for? A free flow of traffic and a greater working space for those contractors who are going to be there. Because we cannot do it, we cannot run such contracts to make our people vulnerable in the end. Congo Town was a place where traffic was running in a way that almost every month. I lived in Congo Town for more than 20 years. Okay, almost every month. So the car knocks down somebody. Somebody's hit in that place. Some people hit and run. So we need a bridge there. But where I have not been able to know exactly where it is going to run. But I know there's a need for an overhead bridge in a lot of areas in Monrovia to be able to control the traffic, because Monrovia is growing. I mean, especially roads that go outside of the city. They are really expanding. A lot of people have started building houses outside of the city. But that particular bridge is necessary at the time. Now, if they say they are going to start in September, that's a good venture. But we cannot say that the governments in the past did not do anything. They have done all the groundwork to make sure that they inform the people. Most of them have moved to break down the houses to be able to do it, because the contractors are international. They cannot come and start breaking down people's houses because government is not going to be with them there. So they cannot do that. So that is what is happening. But it's
and another situation is this project going to be easy? That is it, because we've witnessed several other properties that was affected, and they started with the payment process, and some other properties worth, which of course the government cannot afford, like some other properties around the ministerial complex and 540 and that have never been touched. So some people are saying, how would this bridge be built? And when properties that are close to the road are also being affected, people are paid off to leave those areas so that the construction can can kickstart, because this is where you have vehicles flying that overhead bridge. And again, it's something that will be hazardous for people that will be close to that area, because you have people speeding and might likely run into accident. It's not going to be a safe area for people to live. So I think this is one reason why you have the government trying to relocate people, pay people off that are closer to area the bridge will be constructed. And I don't know how they're definitely gonna go about this, but I think it's important enough that the government make every other ways to have that place safe as well for residents that will be around that area.
that is going to work. When we say we build, when they say they're building the overhead bridge, it doesn't mean that they are not going to have traffic under that bridge. There'll be traffic there, but there will not be a big flow because there are some people who are going to Painesville and they really got nothing to do in Congo Town. So they will be on the overhead bridge. If you come into Congo Town to the ministerial complex, you have an exit. The exit of the bridge brings you straight down to the ministerial complex. Now, because they need space, big graders, big machines need to come. This construction is not a 5-month construction. It may be a 5-year project or 3 years plus before we start using it. Okay, so there are a few houses there. The government still need to negotiate because I know the negotiation was going on while Councillor Kailondo or Attorney Kailondo was trying to put up a 3-story building right in the same area that they have already notified other people that the place will be broken down, and he kept on building. Okay, that becomes a big project because he will want the payment for his building. He will want all of this to be paid more. But he knew that this construction was going on. But just like how we always think about Liberia, we do not have respect for our government. When the government wants to do something, oh, what does that mean? What does that mean? You know, we actually feel that it's not going to be a project that will be consummated in the end. But this project is going to kick off, and I will be one of the people who want to protest if they don't build it because they broke my house down. You know,
I love that.
That is where I grew up. That is where I know myself. Okay, so we have a community. So if you say you're going to do it, it's all right. When I passed in Congo Town, I saw the house because I did ask a question why they did not break this house. They say it's a new house, but they've been talking about this. I was not in the States. My brothers were talking to me about that house almost about 5 years ago. We've been talking. They had notified them that they were going to break down that house. They were going to break down they were going to expand that street, and they were going to be that. But we need the working space. The working space is going to take more houses. You know, but we expect it. You know, development doesn't come very easily. Every time there's development, especially in areas that have already been developed, you have to break down people's hearts. You have to break down people's houses, and you have to make sure that you compensate them. The compensation may be at government's own rate. You can't say that what you spend, they must give out to you, because government needs that place for the betterment of the greater good of the community. Okay, so I just want to talk to people, those who are living around the area, not because they have already gotten rid of us. If you are approached to say that your house falls within the area that they are going to need for the building of the bridge, you have to do it. Liberia, we do need these bridges. Monrovia is overpopulated. And we need to decongest the city. This is a very big work for the police force. Even the police force, at this time, I don't see no reason that we should be assigning police in Congo Town from Capitol Hill. Why must Painesville could have their own police force? Congo Town should have their own police force as we do here. Every community, because you can protect the community better when your police force are based right there. They work in your community and they live there. There are people who know everybody in the area. The police should be a friend, not a stranger to us.
And quickly, thank you so much, Mr. Abu. Thank you so much for all of your points, and we hope that these people are listening as well. Quickly, before we highlight everything we've said, let's just go back to the president visit in the U.S. Now that the president is in the U.S., he gone there, and the meeting is scheduled for tomorrow. Tomorrow. And overall, now what could you say to the Liberian leader and people of the government that are close to the president that might be listening or watching? And what could you say in terms of this meeting that the president can be able to put for Liberia as a country to the U.S. and the U.S. president as a whole?
You see, the good thing about it is that, as I said last time, Joseph Boakai President Joseph Boakai is one of the statesmen in Africa, one of the older presidents that we have, and he has a lot of wisdom. When they invited him, they specifically stated what they were going to discuss. But sometimes when we put in our English together, they discuss diplomatic, economic, and social issues about Liberia. But what are the details? Okay, West Africa went through turmoil. President Boakai is not the chairman for ECOWAS. They didn't invite ECOWAS as a group. They invited specific presidents who they believe that are strategic to whatever discussion they're going to make. Our president has some wisdom. He's a statesman. He has his own little notebook of things that he has been experiencing over the years. Now he has an opportunity to come to meet the president of the United States, not just at the UN or this, but to come for a working visit. That he's going to sit to meet him face to face. Those are some of his dreams. There are some presidents in Liberia who were never invited to the White House. But Mr. Boakai has been invited there. So he comes with his notebook. Even though President Trump will address them, he will have his own specific issues relating to the bilateral relations between Liberia and America and how America can come in better in helping Liberia move forward and helping his administration to go forward. A lot of people are in Washington, D.C. today. Liberians have traveled from all over. They were in Washington, D.C. to welcome the president. They are having meetings with him, and there will be a lot of things discussed. Our president is a man of wisdom. He sent his diplomatic representation here. Dr. Alassane Conte is versed in diplomacy and also an educated person from the same university that President Trump graduated from, Penn State. So they would know that we have a greater hand in this. I know President Trump, as stubborn as he will be sometimes, I'm very sure that he will want to listen to President Boakai because he invited him. He didn't bring him to America and talk down on him. And we know our president, the man who he is, our soft and candid talker. He talks soft, but he tells you the fact and tells you what he wants to say. We know he's not going to be afraid of President Trump. He came to give what the Liberian people think about the relationship between Liberia and America. So I still believe, before I close, I just want to say, those who want to protest, they have the right to protest. But we beg them, please discuss with the Minister of Justice and the security system so that those who have nothing to do with a protest will not be affected by the protest. Don't think the crowd is the one. You need the whole crowd to protest. One person can protest and people can listen to them and know what they're protesting for. You don't have to have a big crowd. So please, those who have nothing to do with protest, please discuss with the Minister of Justice and the security arm so that they can tell you, tell them differently, I'm going to be on Broad Street, I'll be on the Old Road, I'll be in Pinsway, and this and that, so that they'll be able to deploy their people to stop people from affecting you, to stop the bad people from entering into your good protest that you are planning. We know your protest is good, but we don't want people who got nothing to do with it to come. We don't want John Brown sitting there in the taxi just because of your protest. He running to go do the interview and he sits down in one place for 2 hours. He got to get down to get on keke. Then all his necktie will be flying. Then you will not see it. But we want you to please discuss it with the Minister of Justice and the police. Don't take the police as your enemy. The police is there to enhance your situation. Whatever you are saying, please. Because when Greg Coleman comes in, our police inspector tells you that he has not been informed, he takes instruction from the Minister of Justice. Minister of Justice is his boss. No matter you reach to the Minister of Justice still got to stay here to work the details for you people. And please, 15 to 17 are closer. Try to do this. Don't do it in a rush. Try to engage them. It will be better. So with all
Thank
this,
you so much.
thank you. those who are listening to us tonight, those who are listening to us, meeting you again on Thursday.
Thank you so much, Mr. Samuel Zel Abu. Thank you for coming on. And as always, we will be on here Tuesdays and Thursdays. We're hoping on Thursday we can have our other panelists to join us as we go in depth with more fascinating issues about our country, Liberia, so that we can talk about these things on Wiz TV. So we talk about the 1.8 billion contract from the Harvey Ford there that was been announced by the U.S. Embassy near Monrovia here. We talk about, the groundbreaking of the overhead bridge. We spoke lengthily about that. Mr. Abu talked in depth about that and what he think about the bridge project. We talk about, the LMP call for protest permit, which of course Mr. Molu said he did written communication to the Minister of Justice, and we read all of that on here as well. So thanks so much for following. Thanks to all of you for your comment. And you can also look on the stream. We have our WhatsApp number there. We're hoping that you guys can also start to call us on the show and make your input as to some of these things we are talking, how you feel about it, what do you have to say as well. We're hoping on Thursday you'll be here to call us and make an input on the program. Until then, we'd like to say thank you so much, Mr. Abu, for coming on, and we hope to see you on Thursday for another edition of the Round Table. Thank you guys for coming. Thanks for watching. My name is William McGill. Good evening from Liberia.
I can't stand no more, cause I'm a fool. I cannot go to school, cause no more money. I can't stand no more, cause I'm a fool. I cannot go to school, cause no more money. Hey yo, excuse me Mr. Journalist, I wonder how you make your headlines in the press release today. Although I read the news
The Roundtable Listen, Tuesday and Thursday at 9 p.m. Join the conversation that matter the most, live, unfiltered, unapologetic, with local voices and international minds. The Roundtable dive deep into today's toughest questions in society, politics, culture. Nothing is off limits. Your voice, your questions, your platform. Live on Wiz TV, featuring top panelists Mr. Samuel Abu, Mr. Hamed Fofana, Mr. Cyrus Gray, Mr. Jai Blamo, and your host, William McGill. Heated debate, eye-opening truths, and real impact. Tune in to the Roundtable every Tuesday and Thursday at 9 p.m. only on Wiz TV Live. The Roundtable, where every voice counts.